Also, Hoserlu posted a news piece about Wallace and Gromit, and we also talked about this the last time. And but Nick Park is actually making a new Wallace and Gromit film, and so it's kind of up in the air as to how long it's going to be. But they're saying that it will probably be around 30 minutes. And so if you guys are a fan of like the Wrong Trousers or Grand Day Out, that's probably going to be pretty awesome to see. I don't know what the story is going to be, and no one's really alluding to, what the duo is going to, be up to. I can guarantee there will be inventions and gags and probably, who knows, maybe some third character that's uh, getting involved with them in some way, and pretty much a typical storyline that Wallace and Gromit always get into. Hey Weebies, what's going on? Yeah, so it's been 2 weeks. So last week we went to Arkansas, drove down there a couple of times, and my wife was on vacation, so we kind of got out and just had some kind of, well, it wasn't really the best of luck because we went to Arkansas to see some things and the stuff was closed. So we went on a Tuesday and drove all the way down there, and the drive was really great. But when we got there, it was like a crystal museum is what it's called, and they have like these trails in the park, and you can see all kinds of like sculptures and stuff. So it's actually kind of cool. But um, yes, no Peter Salas. That's true, Jello. That's true. Unfortunately, he did pass away. But I don't know who do you guys know who the voice actor is going to be next time? I have no idea, but actually, it would be kind of cool if Nick Park was the voice actor, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty exciting. I think it's going to be exciting either way because, I mean, Nick Park is just known for, his work is top notch quality, and of course, with Aardman's backing, he's got all those like an army of animators and set builders and the typical lineup of musicians to do the orchestral music. I mean, it's gonna be great either way, I'm sure. And Ron says Warner Brothers characters survived the loss of Mel Blanc. Sad, and I get that, but losing all of it would have been worse. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Nick Park is. I mean, it's really actually kind of cool that they're actually keeping the legacy of Wallace and Gromit and Peter's original voice, because actually, I mean, Peter was the one to come up with that voice. So in a way, whoever does his voice is kind of paying homage to his talent. And yeah, I mean, there's kind of some interesting stories behind Peter Salas and how Nick Park asked him to be the voice. Um, and I don't know, but I kind of always see uh, Wallace kind of is Nick Park. Like if you ever watch a video of Nick Park speaking, all the mannerisms, everything, even the voice inflections to some degree. I mean, maybe it's just because they both have British accents, so I can't I can't pick up the nuances between them. But Nick Park definitely had some similarities to Peter in the way that they spoke. So I don't know. Um, I'm sure people in the UK would disagree. They'd be like, "There's no connection there at all." There's no. But yeah, I kind of think there is. So, anyways, so it is feedback week, but we're gonna kind of cover some things that I found first because there's not too many submissions. So recently, I was on, I believe, Twitter, and so Cranbersher has had a YouTube channel for quite some time. Uh, let's see here. So his first video was like 7 years ago, a pretty long time ago, and you can kind of go back in time on if you click on the. So first off, it's Cranbersher, Cranbersher, and probably a lot of you guys are and gals are familiar with him already because he has 135,000 subscribers, which is really really big. Um, but you can go back and you can see from 7 years ago where he started out, and how he sort of evolved and got better and better and better with his work over time. I came up with like the style of puppets which are made from felt, and also he uses like stick-on mouths so that his puppets can. It's not so difficult to do the animation. Like he can focus on the poses and all that. Stick on the mouths is needed and get different expressions. So we came up with this system that he liked, which I guess is about 3 years ago. And so as he you can go through here and see that he started to make tutorials at that point. And he was also an intern at Leica Animation Studios. So he has, I believe, a video here somewhere. Where is it at? Okay. So I guess 8 months ago he had worked there at the last. Let me see here. It says here, hey, wow, long time no see. So over the summer, I was lucky enough to get an internship at Leica. Here are some tidbits that I animated while I was there. And so this is obviously his use of some of the the puppets that were created perhaps for test purposes or just were maybe stripped down for the interns to use. But some really smooth animation, some great poses, and some I guess he's going through pop throughs here to try and figure out the timing of his shots. So he's got the pose that he wants, and then he tries to aim for it. There's the rehearsal, and this is the final shot. So that's something that I guess Henry Selick perhaps came up with that during the night before Christmas, were pop throughs, because using digital technology only came around at about what year, maybe. Let me see here. When did that come out? Was that 2001 or 2000? Well, anyways, I can't remember exactly now. Shoot. But once they had capture equipment, they could easily go through and do tests, which didn't cost the studio thousands of dollars, because they were using 35 millimeter Mitchells, and processing the film and handling the film and setting up the cameras and so forth was extremely expensive, because if you handled the camera wrong and you messed up the side of the the Mitchell where the seal is on there, and there's a light leak or something, and all your film is exposed to light, and then you gotta reanimate your shots and everything. But with digital, it really affords you an advantage over film, in that you can do these tests and you can line things up and almost rotoscope things. And let me see here. So, hey, Hoserloo. And Ron said, I did the voices for Isomer and Trevor, and I don't even have a British accent. I did that because my favorite actor I wanted for Isomer was Patrick Stewart. That would be a great person to do the voice for Isomer. And Hoserloo says, why didn't you just get Patrick Stewart? I wonder what he would even charge for that, right? So Ron's like, coincidentally was that the producer of Sinbad, The Fifth Voyage, that I did stop motion for, had voiceovers by Patrick Stewart. So we're connected in that way. Wow. So you were 1 degree away from Patrick Stewart. I mean, there was an actual chance, right? But anyway, so this channel is really good, and if you want to read more about Cranbercher, he's got an About Me page, which really doesn't say a whole lot, but it's his real name is Oliver Beale, I guess. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Oliver. And it says, I started animating when I was around 9 years old after watching films like Wallace and Gromit. Right? So it's like Wallace and Gromit has inspired so many people to get into stop motion. And Chicken Run. So Chicken Run is probably one of Aardman's biggest stop motion features. I can't remember if they had the highest box office gross from that film. I think it was. And he says, I always made my way onto the behind the scenes features and saw how it was done and decided to try it out. Later films like Coraline and other like it productions inspired me to improve and work at this craft, and I never plan on stopping. In most cases, I do all the work myself, from puppet and set building to post-production and everything in between. Being able to bring such small beings to life to tell stories fascinates and intrigues me incredibly. Oh, and I also make music. So this page is still a work in progress. He's got a frequently asked questions section coming up soon. He's got an art section and all this kind of cool stuff. But the thing I wanted to show you guys was that he has a guide of tutorials. So he has from making the armatures for his felt puppets, the exterior, which I imagine would be like he's got a green jacket and some pants, maybe the hat. Not entirely sure. I haven't watched that one yet. And he's got the basics of animation, equipment, and software. Lighting and camera settings, which that's really important stuff. Most of us have learned that the hard way. And so making stuff movie. Another one, which is guide to lip sync, a guide to walk cycles, facial animation, and full-blown character animation. So he's got it all laid out where you can start episode 1 at the top and make your way through. And when you click it, it gets big. And they're all really nicely produced. He puts a lot of time into it. And let me see here. So you can.
Way. And today we're going to be going over how to animate the entire body in a similar fashion. Now, as usual, we'll need examples to dissect and to show how it all works out in the end. So, you ready, man?
So yeah, I mean, it's really great. You can learn a lot here, just from picking up on what he's learned, and transfer that to your own films. Weeby says, good job on the monsters and Sinbad, and yes, I bought the DVD, he says. And Ron said that the producer of Sinbad, The Fifth Voyage, just wrote to Patrick Stewart and asked him to do it as a favor, and he did it for free. Wow. That is amazing. But Patrick Stewart, you can tell he's a nice person too, right? I mean, I guess from Star Trek, he's pretty much set for the rest of his life, and he loves to work on in theater productions, and it just seems like a guy who really loves life, and very intelligent and funny person. So I guess it's not really too surprising. But anyways, so let's get on to feedback week. So this is our 12th feedback week. And so if you guys if this is the first time you guys are watching the show and maybe don't know what feedback week is, basically what we do is anybody that's part of our site can post pictures, sketches, ask questions. If you've seen something out there that you want to understand how it was done, you could post it in there. We could try to figure it out. You can post your work and get some feedback as well, hence feedback week. And so we do this every other week, and at the top of our page we have a link for feedback week, which you can click and read all the rules and all that kind of good stuff. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first person to submit a couple of short little films or clips. And so this is from Lucas, and so Lucas is a new member, and he actually posted in the forums, and he told a little bit about himself. He says, hi everyone, I'm Lucas. I'm no pro animator or anything like that. I just started dabbling in it as a hobby. I've always been into pretty much all types of art. I write music, write stories, paint, and draw pictures in my spare time. And sometimes I build things out of clay. Claymation is something I've recently developed an interest in because it allows me to take all of these art hobbies and combine them into one project. One of my ideas is to animate music videos for original music I record. I have little experience with animation, but I have always been fascinated by it. So he goes on to say, no big plans here, really, other than to make short animated videos for the fun of it. I came here for advice and inspiration, but also to share my work for feedback and to see what other people are doing with this exciting art form. So that's Lucas, and so he's got a couple of videos, and he says, I would love some advice on some things. And so he says, a preview of my newest claymation project, two mischievous turtles get carried away playing pranks. Background music is a clip from one of my original song recordings. I use this song only for the preview. The final version will have full dialogue and include new music as well. These turtles have more pranks to pull. So he goes, I guess my biggest question would be how to fix or avoid getting dirty or distorted clay. I'm not sure how noticeable it is, but the turtles in the first scene are a lot cleaner and smoother looking than the latter. And he goes on to say, some time had passed by before I shot the last scene, and the clay had accumulated dirt. So probably he has a dusty house, a little bit of dust, maybe some pets, and or just maybe the window was opened and some cars drove by. So that's pretty typical. And he says they're also getting pretty messed up if I have to move them around a lot. So then he says the clay smears and I spend a lot of time trying to fix and clean them. I never really quite go back, or they never really quite go back to normal. I have many more plans for these turtles. I am willing to rebuild them if I have to, but I certainly don't want to have to keep doing that. If you want to talk about it on your broadcast, I'll try my best to be there when you stream it. And he says, unfortunately, I can't make the live chat tomorrow. I'll have to watch the following day. Here's another very short clip I uploaded for feedback if you are interested. So let's first watch his video here. I believe I have this correct. I believe this is the first one. Yep. Okay, it is. So let's watch this and talk about it. Okay, so does anybody have any suggestions for Lucas on how to keep his puppets clean and from accumulating dirt? So I know a bunch of ways to get around that. But I want to see what you guys have to say first. Now, so Alaric, welcome to the show. So you're asking, do you recommend Dragon Frame for beginners? And it's not bad for beginners, but it's not really necessary. I think it's probably overkill. Ron is, hey Randy, and then Randy's saying you don't need Dragon Frame as a beginner because the most important tools for shooting are on freeware. You need Dragon Frame for more advanced animation. Okay, so now first off, when I'm looking at this video, I'm trying to see if I could see any dirt. So they do start out really clean and smooth. And so when the turtles are kind of chatting back and forth, he's trying to get him to turn the crank there. Okay, so one of the first things I noticed is that these turtles do make contact with the set floor. That's the first thing. Also, when they're being animated, your fingers are touching them. So these are two ways they can get dirt on them. The other way is just from dust in the air from settling. So like I said, if you're near a street where there's any kind of construction or dirt getting thrown up into the air, or if you're in a really dry area where there's dust being carried through your screen windows of your house or anything like that, it's pretty much inevitable that you're going to have dirt on your characters. And pets are another thing. Pets bring cat hairs and puppy dog hairs and things like that, and even your own hairs can get on there and land on them and kind of mess them up. So this is kind of the thing that big productions like at Wolverton Studios and even at Urban Animations with Wallace and Gromit, they would have to deal with this all the time. And so there are different solutions. And so the most basic solutions that I know of, and maybe some of you guys in the chat have done this as well, and that is to have a bag of baby wipes. They could be baby wipes, or maybe just rubbing alcohol in a container next to some paper towels, like a roll of paper towels, and just keep those within arm's reach, so that when you're working on something, you can always clean your hands and dry them off, and get any kind of dust particles. Or another thing about your turtles is that you have two different colors. For each turtle, you have like pink and blue and green and pink, and so those colors can bleed together. Even the black on the eyes, that black can get on your fingers and can smear on their shells or wherever you're grabbing them to move them around. And so when you're handling the characters, or actually first off, when you're designing them, you want to make sure that you're not using colors like lots of black anywhere, or lots of dark blues, or colors that can rub off on your hands. Some people use Puppet Putty. That's a really popular brand of well, it's not technically clay, it's putty, but I always call it clay. So it's a popular brand of clay which doesn't bleed colors onto your fingers very easily, but it's kind of hard to come by. We do sell it, but it sells out within a day when we restock. It's really super popular, but with the clay that you're using, I would say you design it okay. The colors aren't too dark on there, so that helps. But as you're kind of working with your characters, you want to periodically clean your hands often. Then when you're done with everything, you want to cover your set with some sort of plastic film, like cover your characters with plastic film, or you want to take something that you can cover the entire set with. So in between shooting scenes and stuff, there's no chance that little bugs can land on there, or pet hairs, or dirt, or dust, or whatever you might be doing. Maybe you're vacuuming and you're stirring up dirt everywhere. Maybe carpet fuzz. So you want to have it covered, and that will kind of keep things clean. So once the characters do get really dirty, you want to take a tool like a loop tool, a really fine one, and you can go over your character and you can literally scrape the surface and just get a very super thin scraping off the surface, to where it doesn't dig into your puppets, but what it does is just takes the surface dirt, scratches it, scrapes it off, and then you want to take some, like a drop of mineral oil with your finger, and then re-smooth that clay out. That's pretty much all you can really do about it. The other option, of course, would be to make your puppets out of something else, perhaps like silicone, or something that you could actually wash off. That's always possible, but if your budget doesn't allow for it and you gotta use clay, nothing wrong with that at all. The other thing you can try to do is just to make sure that you're photographing it in such a way that you don't really hone in on any kind of dirty spots. So for example, here, you have a close-up of your turtle shell. If there was a lot of dirt on there, of course, having it blurry is perfect. But if it were sharp, you'd want to make sure that maybe you did blur it. So you can kind of get around it with those kind of techniques. The other thing, and like the last option really, is to digitally repaint your like turtle shells if there were dirt. You could take Photoshop or Krita or GIMP or any kind of programs where you can edit photos, and you can recolor parts of your puppet. So that would probably be the worst way to do it and the most labor intensive, but it is an option. So so this is the second one. This one's 27 seconds long, and it autoplays for some reason. But let's watch this one and see what we can find. So not bad at all, and I think the animation is not, it's pretty good. It's we're talking about characters which I can tell are a little bit hard to animate to begin with, but like the little walk here of your robot's really cool. Your turtles are you're getting the point across with their animation, and I know you're gonna have full dialogue and so forth. But this is, it's coming along, and I would say this is kind of similar to like the Red and Blue, I think, for some of the comedic animations that were done early on. I think it was Aardman that made those. So like having this like dualistic pair of characters to play on each other is a really good idea. And your sets are basic, your characters are basic, but I think if you can work your dialogue in there, that's gonna of course make your storytelling a little bit better. But in terms of the puppets, they're good. Like I say, you're getting the point of your story across that you're trying to convey without any problems there. Your lighting is not bad. It's pretty good. It's like I say, it's simple, but it's very well brightly lit. The image is crisp and clear, and your music that I heard there before was not bad as well. It's pretty good. So yeah, I really can't wait to see more of this, and I think you guys will agree it's pretty good. So let's see here. And Hello Jello says, I like the binary code on the mail. Yeah, so they put a magnet inside there, right? So he gets stuck. Yeah, binary code. It is pretty good. It's pretty good that you caught that. So Ron says, I use silicone constantly, and dust on a simple cartoon type character is a pain in the wampum. Clean them with alcohol or baby wipes. Yeah, silicone does actually get, you can, it does get, it's not really sticky. I don't really know what the word is for it though. It's like stuff attaches to it, almost like static in a way, but yeah, silicone is weird. It's just a different kind of adhesion that I don't really know if it's defined. But actually, I've got some silicone molds, and when I clean them out, I just use I use water. That's my preference. I'll just like rinse it off, and that seems to take care of things, and then I'll let it dry. alcohol is, probably just as good. I don't know. I've never tried to use alcohol, honestly. Hoster Lou says, like baby oil. And Randy says, I agree, but only ever use silicone. Oh, I see. Let's try to backtrack here, see what you guys were talking about. So Ron says that silicone can be washed off, but it picks up more dust than clay does. It seems magnetic to dust. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like there's a static electricity aspect to it. I don't really know. I don't understand how that works. All right. So anyway, so Lucas, I hope that kind of gives you some ideas on how to keep your clay clean. Honestly, I personally think that your animation looks very clean as it is. I didn't notice any dust or dirt on any of it, so it might be just that you're able to see it with your eyes, but your camera can't pick it up. So, I think you're doing it right there. All right, so the next person is Tamarami, who hasn't posted on our page in a while, and so she is. She says here, "Hi all, it's been a while, but here's some new things to look at. This claymation is for a school assignment, but it's inspired by my webcomic Repellent on Webtoons. So I'll click this. So there are 2 episodes. These were posted just here at the end of May, and you can see how she's made a story here. So she's getting more into digital art, and this is something that everybody should really learn to at least draw in the Paint program in order to like storyboard and character design and that sort of thing, because it doesn't have to necessarily be in Photoshop. It can be in something free like Krita, but it's really great to learn. And if you get a like, for example, what is mine called? It's like a Huion, I think it's called. Yeah, Huion is the name of the tablet. I think I bought it for something like $50 or $80 on Amazon, and it allows you to draw in those kind of programs. It's very, very helpful. It's not super expensive compared to Wacom or Wacom tablets. But yeah, you can see she's got this story going on, and so she's using this as inspiration for this particular project. And now there's a series of videos. Looks like we got 4 videos, and we're going to go through each one of these. So let's start with the first.
This clay animation is inspired by my webcomic Repellent. You can find that on Webtoons. I also put updates on my Twitter, Elfenschermpje, that is the name that I chose to go by. My inspiration comes from nature, animals, and I really love fantasy. Creating and expressing short fantasy stories is very important to me. It's kind of like bringing them to life, so to speak. In the future, I like to make more digital art. I also hope to do 2D and 3D animations, and for sure in the fall, mushroom photography. I think that was good. That was good, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to say bye or not. I just want to cut it short.
Okay, so that kind of sets things up. You can sort of see what she's been up to, and so. Okay. Yeah, Jello, we can definitely load up your stuff here. Let me refresh the page here just so I don't forget. by the time I get done with Temerami's. And Ron says, I've been using a Wacom tablet since I got my first computer, but I still can't write my own name well on it. Gotta do it on paper first. Ah. So Jello, let me see here. Did you post it on the... Oh, okay, no. I think my page is locked up here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we'll check that out after this. Alright, so we have here, we have a set of videos. So we have, this is the moving storyboard I made for the idea, for an idea what the animation is supposed to look like. So he like picks up the mushroom and then it kind of wobbles and he sort of falls over. And then you can see here, raw animation made with Dragon Frame. I did have help on this project. So right off the bat we can see so it looks like the so the puppet is suspended with the wire, and then it looks like it's in a nice large chunk of clay off camera. And so the mushroom gets picked up and then falls right over. So one more time here. So it's pretty interesting, and what's cool about this is that he's got this, or it's like a cloak of some sort, and all that is animated and it's all clay. So that's normally something that most people would avoid trying to do. And I think the reason that Temerami was able to do this is because of the scale of the character. I can tell that the scale is fairly small. And that definitely would help with a few issues such as gravity, because if it's a lot of clay, it may be hard to hold up this puppet. So the character is designed really perfectly for what he's trying to accomplish here, which is to jump into the scene or fly into the scene and then lift the mushroom up and fall over. So yeah, it's some great planning there. It may not seem obvious at first glance, but a lot of thought, went into that. So that's really good. Let's make this big here. So you can just see there. There was obviously the editing was done, and the rig was removed, and also the background was replaced. There's a bug on my screen here. Get out of here, bug. So yeah, I don't really know what I could add in terms of comments. I think she did a great job. So I think that starting out with the sketch, and then doing a little short storyboard, and then filming it with a green screen to replace the background, keeping it fairly simple. The character design is good for what he was supposed to do. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. So she also says, I also stream digital art on Twitch, and her name is, let's open it up here. It's Elfin Shermpijay. I know I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but it's ELFENSCHERMPJE. And so I believe there's only one video here. Yeah, so there's one video. Click on the video tab. And so she's got this sort of blog on how she was making her webcomic. You can see I scrubbed through here before. And here's the initial drawing. Got the horse. And what program is she using, Ashley? I'm kind of curious. I think it might be Photoshop. So it's not in my language, but and I don't have the latest Photoshop, but it does look to be the program. Let's see if she says anything here. There's no description there to say, but in either case, definitely check it out if you guys want to become a follower of hers. That's the name. And Jello says, Wacom tablets are hard when you aren't drawing directly on a monitor. Cintiqs are best ideal, but a bit too expensive. And Ron says, she's had many names since I met her online. I have no clue why she keeps changing it. I think, yes, it used to be Clay Mara for the most part. That was probably her most famous one. And I believe she keeps trying to rebrand herself because of she tried to, figure out a way to make all her series of animations on YouTube and perhaps make money at it. And I think it didn't work out just because of the changes that YouTube made to how videos are found. So yeah, it's I think it's just part of her plan. Still trying to find her way. But I agree, I think Claymore was pretty good. So Randy says, I was just thinking about that, Ron. Yeah. Yep. She has changed her name a lot. Okay, so thank you, Lucas and Claymore, for submitting those. And so next up is Hello Jelloship. And Jello says, hey there, hope this isn't too late. I just joined the forum, but I actually used to be a member back when it was still called Animate Clay. Rediscovered the site after a few years away. Glad to see this is still going strong. And Jello says, I recently finished my graduation film from Ringling College of Art and Design. Cool. And it's a mixed media film, but the main character is all done in stop motion. I don't know if it necessarily counts, but if you'd like to take a look, here it is. So let's check it out. Let's open it up. So this film is about a little over 4 minutes, so we got lots of time left. So let's watch it, and then we'll discuss. Hopefully it plays well.
Like every great story, we start at the start to tell this tale that will lighten up your heart. Welcome to the city of Yuling. In this place, everybody is a something. There are the gawks, the stumps, you got Vain Gains and Ringlets, even the harried, knotted, Groobers, and Gildettes. Then there's the Yam Yums, Pastoids, Almies, and Uber Odd, the Newells, the Newellers, Booked, and of course, Todd.
Hey, I'm Todd.
And alone in his room sits our protagonist, a relatable lad.
And remember to let yourself know, I am happy.
Unlike everyone else in Yuling,
I am happy.
he is incredibly sad. In a city of somethings, he is a no one. No group, no charm, nothing special or fun. Every day the same. He works hours at the Beelzebub store, manning the register and phones.
Beelzebub Emporium, how may I direct your call?
Until the clock hits 4. What's this? An idea? Could it really be? The protagonist has an answer. Hey, well, let's see. Of course, that's it, he thought to himself. Why be himself when he can be someone else? Prepare yourself for a visual barrage. Without further ado, roll the montage. Life was good. Life was grand. It seemed, for once, everything was going as planned. No longer did he carry around his shame. He had love, belonging, and more friends than he could name. Finally, and I'll avoid being sappy, everything was perfect. He was just so happy.
Alright, that was great. And it looks like this is on some sort of autoplay here. Let me pause that. Okay. Very good. So first off, that's a great film. That's really awesome. 4 minutes of animation mixed with some live action and some 2D elements as well. Really great. Hey, what's going on, Cody Bop? Welcome to the show. So yeah, so Jello, I mean, my son and I were actually having a conversation about this earlier today. So this is kind of a funny video for me about you know, how to act and how to be when you're with other people, because he has this issue where he tries to impress one of his friends, and he always acts silly, and he does it at his own detriment. And so yeah, it's kind of funny that I had that discussion, but yeah, it's a really good story. I mean, I don't know, I didn't see at the end here who the story writer was, but it's a really good story. It's well executed. I think that the sets here, which are, you used a simplified sort of way of making the sets, and then you sort of stuck your characters in there, and it all works, you know, it all looks good. You know, these are kind of funny the way that they're drawn out. Yeah, it's just really good. The animation's great. So I do know you guys used a lot of compositing to do this, a lot of green screen. That's the one thing that sticks out. That's probably the only thing that I can notice that, you know, pops out as, I don't want to call it distracting, but if you have a really critical eye, you know, you would notice. But other than that, everything's really good. I mean, even like this little walk you did here is just so well done. And the 2D elements, you know, they stick to your character really well. So I'm not really sure how you did that. Probably like maybe Photoshop or whatever. But everything, you know, lines up, and looks like here you've got some maybe stick-on replacement faces, perhaps. And you got your, you know, pseudo camera move there. And this is also really cool how you did this with the blurs and to transition from one scene to the next. That's really great. So I'm guessing you guys made some sort of a ball and rotated it. But yeah, it's neat. And these character designs are really funny as well. So So Ron says, awesome. I don't know why, but it reminds me of Mosen's work, if you remember him. Very polished and pro. And Hello Joe says, thanks, I don't, but I'll look him up. And Randy says, that's a very cool little film, love it. And Ron says, most every shot is made interesting in its own way, very entertaining. And Randy says, I like the transitions between the rooms during the montage, spinning to the next one. Yeah. Do you guys know how I can flip back and forth on this? Or can I? I don't think I can. Oh, I kind of can. Alright. I'm going to go back here. Oh, no. It skips like 24 frames here, unfortunately, at a time. Darn it. But yeah, like you got the motion blur in there. See if I can pause it in between. Ah, well, pretty close. But yeah, it's really good. And he's lifting some steaks, I think. That's some heavy steak. But yeah, this is just really cool. He turns into a gossipy woman here. It's like there's a lot of absurdities to it, like, you know, characters that, you know, have motions and things that are just so unusual that, you know, it's great to see stop motion being used in that way. Yeah, it's really good. So Hoser Lou says, really good, love the color and character design, and good little story too. Yeah, absolutely. Be yourself. So which one is me? I don't know. I have no idea anymore. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I mean, thanks for posting that, Jello. I mean, it's last minute, but definitely a good one. And also to Tamarami, it's really good to see her posting on our site again. And Lucas, you know, I think you're definitely making you know, some good progress on your film. And I think once you add your dialogue, you know, repost these on here somewhere. We could probably look at it, you know, the next time that we have feedback week when they're done with the new music I think you said you wanted to use. So if you'd like to do that, feel free. If you have any, you know, of course, maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't have any questions or anything, but that's okay too. And yeah, and so just to kind of wrap things up for tonight, I do hope within the next 2 weeks to have fixed our webpage and to fix the photo upload option. So, you know, if you guys have been trying to upload stuff, you know, you will get this undefined error message for the moment, but that will be fixed. And also, if you guys have any suggestions also for the webpage or content that you would like to see posted, like for example in our news section, we also have in our tutorials we have a Spanish section as well, and let's see, so we have there we go, tutorials in Espanol. So we've got currently 6 of them, and whoops, I don't want to edit that. So Dan Metal Mad Cat is on our contact page here, and now I do know he's getting into, I do believe he's getting into making another stop motion project. I saw on Facebook he had posted how he has an artist that is I believe like a thrash metal musician, and he wants to work with him in order to either produce videos, like maybe music videos, or I can't remember exactly, but a lot of times Dan will post things in both English and Spanish, but you know, we're going to see what's going to happen there. But if you guys would like to see anything on our site translated to Spanish, his email is here. It's metalmadcat, and it's at stopmotionmagic.com. And for news, we have Hoserloo at stopmotionmagic.com. And if you guys have any suggestions in general for the webpage that you'd like to see added, or maybe like some links or something that you want added to our link section. So we have links here. For example, editing programs. Maybe you found a good editing program you would like to see in here or something like that. Drop me an email and I can do that. And finally, Mr. Force is always looking on our site for spam and bots and people that are just out to like promote products and things like that that are not really related to stop motion, which happens every once in a while. I think the last time there were people trying to pass off something like they were making a film, but then they're also linking to a essay writing firm or something like that, like some really weird stuff. So he's always good at finding that stuff. And so thank you guys for helping out with the site. And that does conclude our show for tonight. Actually, one last thing, of course, we will have another feedback week in 2 weeks. So tonight what I'm going to do is I will create in the forums, I will create a new feedback week number 13 section here. And when I do that, you can post anything that you would like discussed in 2 more weeks. So what are you saying, Ron? So I have the first of a few jobs going on for me right now. The beginning of this year was dead, but things are turning around now. Phew, well, that's great. That's always exhilarating when you finally get work from a long gap. So that's great. Yeah, go Ron. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you. Let's see, in 7 more days. See you all later.